Taiwan, I'm Louise with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. President Lai Ching-te has announced his party's goals for the coming year at its annual Congress. Lai, who also chairs the Democratic Progressive Party, says it should safeguard Taiwan's sovereignty, deepen its democratic systems, and protect freedom and human rights. Lai spoke to fellow DPP members in Taiwanese Hokkien, rather than in the official language of government, Mandarin. He stressed that the DPP should work for the common good of Taiwan, regardless of divisions within the party.
现在，咱的责任是团结人民，反并吞，确保国家主权。咱必须要凝集每一份的力量，让国家认同不再成为外部分化、内部对立的破口，是团结国人的力量。
At least 12 people have been killed after a bridge collapsed in northwestern China. Authorities in Shaanxi province say the bridge collapsed Friday night after heavy rain and flash flooding. At least 31 people are still missing, and 20 vehicles are thought to have fallen into the river. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for all-out rescue efforts as the country responds to flooding in multiple regions. Israel's military says it blocked a missile fired from Yemen. Houthi rebels there claimed responsibility for the thwarted attack, which came after Israeli fighter jets struck a port in the Houthi stronghold. Tiffany Wong reports.
Israeli fighter jets strike a city in Yemen on Saturday, killing 3 people and wounding dozens more. Israel's defense minister says the attacks are retaliation for a drone strike that killed 1 person in Tel Aviv the day before, carried out by Yemen's Houthi rebel group. Israel says the target was a key port for weapon shipments from Iran.
לדם של אזרחים ישראלים יש מחיר, הוא לא הפקר. את זה יודעים היום, גם בלבנון, גם בעזה, גם בתימן וגם במקומות אחרים. אם יעיזו לתקוף אותנו, התוצאה תהיה זהה.
Israel's military says Iran-backed Houthi militants have launched over 200 attacks on Israel, but that this was the first to bypass its Iron Dome defense system and kill an Israeli citizen. Houthi leaders say they will continue their fight as long as Israel carries out its war in Gaza.
لن تتوقف عن عملياتها المساندة لإخواننا في غزة مهما كانت التداعيات ومهما كانت النتائج، وأنها بعون الله تعالى تعد العدة لحرب طويلة مع هذا العدو حتى وقف العدوان ورفع الحصار وإيقاف كل جرائمه المرتكبة بحق الشعب الفلسطيني في قطاع غزة.
It's been 10 months since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, triggering the war in Gaza. That conflict has seen nearly 39,000 people killed and tens of thousands of others wounded, according to Gazan health officials. Although ceasefire talks are ongoing, Israel's strikes on Yemen are renewing fears that the Israel-Hamas war could escalate into a larger regional conflict. James Lin and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Bangladesh's top court has scaled back a controversial quota system after deadly protests. Demonstrators were furious at a system that would have set aside 30% of government jobs for the families of independence fighters. That's in a country with high youth unemployment. Clashes between police and protesters have killed more than 100 people in the past week. Now the court has reduced the quota to 7%. Police in Taiwan handled 15,000 fraud cases in the first 5 months of the year, putting them on track to surpass the number in 2023. Last year already saw a big rise in fraud cases. The country's police are now floating new measures to curb the increase. They're considering bringing back a public list of low-level fraudsters, with the hope that naming and shaming suspected offenders will help protect the public and encourage them to report potential scams. People whose images were shared on an illegal porn site are still finding their photos online, months after the original website was shut down. As prosecutors go after those responsible, the families of the people affected are calling for justice. Tiffany Wong reports.
A new Taipei cram school operator who fell to his death in an apparent suicide was being investigated for secretly photographing female students for an illegal adult website. He was one of several people charged over their involvement in Taiwan's largest illegal porn website, known as Creative Private Room. The original site was blocked in April, but images reshared in other forums have come back to haunt the people victimized by the site and their families.
一开始的时候，有人在 FB 上面开始丢讯息，告诉我说，我给你看一些你太太的东西，这是创意私榜的一些连结，或者是其他的色情网站的一个连结。但是我点进去看，确定每一个几乎都是我太太。
Those affected say they don't want their images spread anywhere else and are calling for the people who passed on the photos to be punished. But that may be an impossible task on the internet.
有一些是比较类似，像是那种很私人或很小，或者它根本就是你管辖不到的。特别是在台湾，就是这种国际的这样子的一个处境之下，要完全杜绝其实是会有困难的。
And with law enforcement still tracking down other suspects, it may be a long time before survivors see justice served. James Lin and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
A team in Taiwan has launched a rocket named after a Lord of the Rings character. Sounding rocket Asfaloth reached a height of 3,000 meters after blasting off from a base in Pingdong County. Asfaloth is one of a growing number of scientific research rockets launched by Taiwan. This one is the brainchild of a team from National Yangming Jiaotong University. It's named after a trusted white horse in the series of fantasy novels by J.R.R. Tolkien. A teacher in central Taiwan has received state-of-the-art medical treatment after battling cancer for years. She's now in recovery after doctors performed surgery to correct a rare complication. Bryn Thomas has the story.
Miss Lee, an elementary school teacher in central Taiwan, has been battling nasopharyngeal cancer for several years. It's a type of cancer that starts behind the nasal cavity and can spread through the head and neck. She underwent radiation therapy 2 years ago and went into remission, but recently the cancer returned. After her last round of radiation therapy, Miss Lee experienced splitting headaches and weak limbs. Finally, she decided to seek specialized treatment at one of the country's largest medical centers.
其实一开始，我是要放弃我自己的，所以，我在网络上找到了荣总有这样的特色医疗，所以我就过来这里寻求协助。
Doctors at Taichung's Veterans General Hospital diagnosed Miss Lee with osteoradionecrosis, a relatively rare side effect of radiation therapy that causes exposed bones to die. The condition had led to a dislocation of a vertebrae in her neck. The doctors then performed a minimally invasive surgery to remove dead tissue and correct her cervical spine.
以往的话，都必须要做传统的开放式的手术。那现在我们部门有独特的一种内视镜微创的一个手术，能够带人病人一些在最小的伤害之下，还能够处理他的颅底骨坏死的一个情形。
Doctors say radiation and chemotherapy, the two most common treatments for nasopharyngeal cancer, can cause serious complications. But in Miss Lee's case, she was able to receive the care she needed in time. For now, Miss Lee goes in for regular checkups and is undergoing speech therapy. She's expected to make a full recovery and be able to go back to teaching next semester. Howard Chang, Wesley Lewis, and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
A music trio has been blending the sounds of classical Chinese instruments to create melodies inspired by Taiwan's folk music. And they're going to be performing as part of Taiwan's delegation to the Paris Cultural Olympiad. Wesley Lewis takes a look at their rehearsals.
Representing Taiwan through its music. This Taipei-based trio, who go by the name Three People Music, have been fine-tuning their repertoire ahead of this year's Paris Cultural Olympiad, a festival highlighting international artists and musicians that's being held alongside the Summer Olympic Games.
其实我觉得在去巴黎这一趟，其实是要非常仔细的去规划，因为我们要想着怎么样把我们团的特色带出去，所以我们在曲目上面的规划也是精心挑选的。我们特别挑选很多在地的素材创作的乐曲。
The trio first came together as students at Taiwan's highly regarded Tainan National University of the Arts, one of the country's largest performing arts schools. There, they all studied Chinese classical music, each mastering a distinct traditional instrument. Guo Jingmu plays the guzheng, a plucked zither. Pan Yutong plays the zhongran, a plucked string instrument. And Renzhong plays the dizi and xiao, both wind instruments. And when played together, these classical instruments create a unique sound.
那其实这3个乐器本来它不是经常会出现的组合，因为在声音平衡上面，可以知道说笛子它声音比较大声，然后在声响上面，我跟仪筒的这个声音中阮的声音音质又比较像。
They're now looking forward to exposing a wider international audience to traditional Taiwanese music at the Cultural Olympiad, an unparalleled platform to represent their country as musicians.
我觉得从音乐上代表这个台湾去参加奥林匹克是一件很神奇、很奇妙的事情，因为以往奥林匹克都是运动类的，跟我们艺术类的比较不相关。虽然说也是会看着电视，然后一起觉得哇，这个台湾加油之类的，可是第一次可以用艺文的身份，就是音乐的身份去参加奥林匹克。
Last month, Taiwan's Vice President Xiaobi Kim presented Three People Music with a sash of honor at an event dedicated to the country's Cultural Olympiad delegation. And as they prepare to represent Taiwan in Paris, these creative musicians hope their unique sound will strike the right note and resonate with a global audience. Kama Shu and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
An award-winning Japanese high school marching band has performed for a crowd of more than 10,000 people in Taipei. The Nishihara High School Marching Band took part in the Presidential Office concert on Saturday night. Taiwan President Lai Ching-te and Vice President Xiaobi Kim attended the concert, which also featured performances by Taiwan musicians. The event was held to support Taiwanese athletes in the lead-up to the Paris Olympics. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, let's chill out with these animals trying to cool down in the scorching heat at a zoo in Rome. I'm Louise Watt. Take care. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching TaiwanPlus. For more stories from around the world, including the Solomon Islands, download the TaiwanPlus app.